Like Swoon, Swimming Cities of Switchback Sea, September 7th. Could there be any more S words in the English language? So my name is Callie, and I am an artist that has been going by the name of Swoon for about 8 years.
Oh, darling, darling.
When I first started making stuff, it was like this moment of getting to New York, trying to think about doing things the way that you're told you're supposed to do them, and just kind of flipping out and being like, I can't do that, you know? And just feeling like I needed to like punch through something. I needed to like push against something. And then also feeling like I just needed to do something that was kind of bad. Once I started working outside, I just had this intense amount of energy that I could just make things, put them out, and they would be gone. They would be just ravaged and destroyed. And so it was a way of clearing out every old idea. You just take it out, and it's gone, and it just gets swept away from you. So you're forced to keep making things. And so there's this constant renewal, and you're like, you can just sort of really move through a lot because nothing, you're not going to keep anything. The street work has continued and then sort of led me down a path of doing different kinds of public projects, one of which is the project I'm working on right now, which is a flotilla of rafts that has come down the Hudson River and docked in New York City.
And you say, I had the strangest dream last night. And Robin nods her head and says, welcome aboard. You are now all guests aboard the Swimming Cities of Switchback Sea.
It's called the Swimming Cities of Switchback Sea. It's 7 vessels, 4 big boats, 3 homemade rafts, a steamship, a small canoe, 2 speedboats that were sort of kind of altered, and all of those were traveling together as a fleet and being crewed by a group of people who were also doing performances as we made stops in towns along the river. I think was really inspired by Venice and the feeling that there's this like city just like rising up out of the ocean. And then I think again thinking about like cities as ecosystems and outgrowths, and like what if like parts of the city were kind of breaking off and like floating towards this kind of different destination and reattaching. And I think it's all just for me just this kind of like semi-fantastical way of looking at cities.
I would sleep 1,000 years, Switchback Sea would still be here.
The Hudson River, the old Mohawk name for it, it means river that flows both ways, and it's a tidal estuary from the ocean. And so I just called it the Switchback Sea because the currents change direction every day.
For today and tonight, no hazardous weather is expected at this time.
My name is Carol Keenson, the captain of the ship Alice.
Ben Burke from Truckee, California, and I'm engineer on Alice.
Every day that you live on the river is both totally ecstatic and insanely difficult, you know?
It's a little bit, the Times called it part summer camp for grown-ups, and it is really fun. There's definitely, we have parties, and you know, it's great in that way, but it can be a little bit arduous.
Everything becomes a logistical nightmare. And so everything is very much harder and then also very much more beautiful at the same time.
Why do I think we're ghosts? A ghost is always on the move. A ghost is see-through, and often in the morning I can see through my own hand.
We're not ghosts, any more than you are.
There was a playwright named Lisa D'Amour whose plays I had been seeing for years. In New York City, I had always gone to see pretty much everything she'd done.
My name is Lisa D'Amour, and I'm the writer and director of the performance that we're doing in different towns along the Hudson River.
There was a kind of a narrative which was formed around this trip and coming to the docking place, which was this installation containing kind of an imaginary flood line and sort of a docking place for these boats.
So the themes of this project emerged really organically. Swoon and I looked at the models, talked a lot about the culture that was kind of created on the Rockaway, which was Swoon's last collective boat project, and some of the problems they ran into when they would come into towns and people kind of not understanding the way of life. So a lot of both who are these people and also what are these crafts that don't match up with any kind of shape that we're used to seeing in our daily lives. You know, a boat is supposed to look like a motorboat or a sailboat, our boats don't adhere to that structure. And so I think that theme of like what happens when you decide to work outside of the known structures of the world was really important to Callie and to me as I wrote the play.
If you feel sort of squeezed into or pushed out of sort of life as usual and the daily grind of the way that the society that you're living in is shaped, one possible way to create a new life is to really just literally like create out a little more land for you to live on and travel with it.
We all get something from each other out here in this type of situation that you don't get just given or handed to you over there on the land, you know? Oh, thank you. Hey, life.
This is one of those things that people don't know what to make of it. I mean, and clearly it's just not kind of like your run-of-the-mill experience, and so they get totally freaked out. And then in Queens, you know, they came and were like, you guys look like pirates and you're sitting outside of an armored car depot, and I'm like, come on now, you know.
Nicholas, where you heading for? Nicole, did you build that yourself?
Particularly on the Mississippi, people would always stop and be like, what are you? And you know, they call you different things, and the newspapers print different things, and there's always all these different names sort of being hurled at this, what you are. And
Nicholas, Highland Angels! Nicholas, the Savage Cities! Nicholas, the Swimming Cities of Switchback Island!
even from the Mississippi, we had always decided to do a performance because you need to have a way of interfacing with a community when you show up. You know, you're this very strange thing, and everyone wants to talk to you, and they want to understand who you are and what you're doing, and a performance is a really excellent way to be like, come at 8. We'll totally like show you what this is about. For sure, anyone who lived through the 60s and all of the impulses of like happenings and all the different stuff that was going on in art, a lot of those artists have been sort of coming out of the woodwork and being like, hey, like you guys, we identify with this.
We're all here to get down the river and do it, you know, smiling and not dying.
That everyone's like working so hard towards this thing and learning this very specific thing and traveling together, and just the closeness, and then also the like torture of trying to like get anything done with a group that size and of that many personalities, and it's really amazing. But those people are, I can't imagine, I mean, that's like my family, those people for sure.